Let's get some insight now from Kabir Adamu. He's the managing director of a security risk management and intelligence consulting company in Nigeria, and he joins us now from Abuja. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on the program. Now, first off, give us some insight into how governments in West Africa are combating terrorist groups at the moment with a rise in attacks, how the military is playing a role here in doing so, and how the absence or presence of foreign powers like France and Russia change things on the ground.
And thank you, and good morning. So as a regional body, the ECOWAS, which is the multilateral platform for the governments to cooperate, has come up with an agenda for counterterrorism and has pledged a certain amount of money. Unfortunately, that money has not been realized almost 3 years into that decision. On the other hand, we've seen the creation of two multinational platforms, that's the G5 and then the multinational joint task force, which has its headquarters in Chad. The G5 has its headquarters in Mali. So in summary, these are the major fronts through which the region has attempted to counter terrorism. Unfortunately, in the case of the G5, because of the issues between Mali and France has pulled out of that, and the likelihood of the continuation of the headquarters of that platform in Mali is very, very slim. Likewise, the challenges in Chad. So unfortunately, this military approach has not been successful so far.
You mentioned France. Do you think that they had an impact at all in fending off terror attacks? Because many think that they had little effect in doing so.
Yeah, the fact that they've been deployed in Mali for about a decade, over a decade, and the fact that the circumstances in Mali haven't really improved. And of course, we know about the coup that has occurred twice actually in Mali. And part of the reason for that coup is because of the security challenges, including terrorism in that country. I mean, that's the simple exemplification of the fact that France has not been very successful in Mali.
And there are fears that Daesh is regrouping in Africa, which causes great security concerns. The U.S., we know, has vowed to help. What role are they going to play in the fight against terrorism across West Africa?
So one of the greatest issues that unfortunately we don't speak enough about is the need for good governance. Now, good governance, or the lack of it, is what provides the ingredient, the grievances that these groups use to recruit their members. It also allows for weaknesses of institutions through which these groups infiltrate this region. So as long as good governance is not improved, these groups will continue to exploit these weaknesses and expand their networks and their presence in the countries. No matter the amount of military force, as long as good governance is not improved, then unfortunately, and I think this is where the major gap is. Countries like the US and other partners in the global coalition focus on some aspects of military cooperation without necessarily putting pressure on improving good governance.
Right, that brings me to my next question. Do you think the lack of governance is why we're seeing the military step in more often in these cases?
So unfortunately, it's a case of the which comes first, the chicken or the egg. The military tries to justify their presence as a result of that. But we also know that in the past, especially in my country, Nigeria, where the military has had a long history of governance, we've not seen any improvement, especially in terms of democracy and good governance itself. So that justification, unfortunately, does not hold any water in that regard. I am in support of the call by all the multilateral bodies, including the UN, ECOWAS, for a speedy resumption of democracy in the affected countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea.
All right, Kabir Adamu, thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour and sharing that insight with us.